everyone, and welcome to Starting 11 here on the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia, that's Snark. Our teams
Mhm.
battled this weekend, and so one of us is happier than the other.
I think it's a yes. I think saying battle each other is be a gross misstatement on
One,
both sides.
one, yeah, yeah, it was a game.
It's a match that happened. There was a recorded winner.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, everyone lost watching that match. It was absolute crap.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't the best.
the good news is there were so many other games that were crap this weekend.
There were not a lot of good games this weekend.
Lucky for us, there was only 8.
Yeah, thankfully it was a shortened week.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll talk about the reason why the title favorites weren't playing this weekend. Talk about that at the end, but
yeah.
we're gonna talk about crap for 8 matches. We might as well start at the very beginning because we got Bournemouth taking on Brentford here.
Hmm.
Uh, Brentford does not win at home anymore.
No,
So
they don't.
no, luckily they're going to be playing over at Bournemouth. Uh, Brentford even decide they'll spot Bournemouth a
Hmm.
goal here, getting a Vitaly Yanelt deflecting a ball. I don't know if it was off his shoulder or off his head, but
I don't know.
it was a cross in from Kirkaz and it goes off him into the net. That was 17 minutes in. That was the only time that Bournemouth was really going to feel decent about themselves. So I'll say for the
Hmm.
rest of the game, because Brentford's going to go on to win. Brentford scoring 2 from
Yep.
set pieces. Yon Wissa scoring from a Brian Mbumo corner. One thing I want to say, we keep getting people talking about, Isaac for good reason going on. Maybe to Liverpool, the rumors keep surrounding him that Liverpool's going to tear things apart, and
Hmm.
Isaac's going to come in that might cost up to 150 million pounds, which is, you know,
That's
for
batshit insane.
for a Chelsea fan, this is crazy. Even for
Yeah.
someone who's as a proven striker. Jon Wissa has 14 goals this year, and nobody talks about him.
He's doing very well in Brentford's system. I don't know if he'd do well in someone else's
He just
system.
has the size. He has the
Yeah.
size to go up and get balls, which is so rare. 14 goals this year for Wissa. Not
Yeah.
bad. He's 28 years old.
Mhm.
He isn't he's not on on the downward path. I think a 4 or 5
Yeah.
year contract for young Wissa wouldn't be astronomical to ask and stuff like that. Except if you go to Spurs, where it doesn't matter, you put anybody in there. It's so fun.
I mean, that's true.
Now, the second goal. Well, first, I guess we should talk about that near miss from, was it Semenyo? Yeah, Semenyo heading in that just as the second half starts or whatever.
Yeah.
Clayford puts that ball and Semenyo puts it off the bar. Not great. And the winner, Kevin Shota, a
Mhm.
throw in, gets almost to the center of the box, which is bananas.
Unbelievable.
Only gets there really because 5 Bournemouth players watch it bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just ends up going to Christian Norgard, who has zero problem putting in the net for a 2-1 lead.
Yeah.
Fun fact I found out, the
Mhm.
Cherries haven't beaten Brentford since 2014 in the league.
That's
In the league.
crazy.
Yeah, it's not like these two are like at polar opposite ends of each other.
No.
And they were both, looking to go top 10 and stuff like that. But, well,
Mhm.
at least Bournemouth was. Bournemouth had a chance to move up to, I think it was fifth or sixth. I think they had a chance to move past City. Instead, they're going to drop all the way down to 10th. Brentford are going to go to 11th now without winning at home in at the calendar year. That's not so bad.
Not so bad. No.
Next match, a team that needed points any way they could do it. If
Mhm.
you think of any team that would come to St. Mary's, maybe they'd be able to get something from Wolves.
Mhm.
Nope. No,
No.
they didn't.
No.
But, I think they had a very nice start until Jean-Victor Bellegarde crosses into the box. And then Jurgen Strand Larsen, a name you haven't heard much lately
No, you
on the
haven't.
score sheet. Well, I think because he plays behind Mateus Cunha.
That could be.
With Cunha being out, injured again, he gets a start. A little bit of pepper on
Mm-hmm.
that header by Strand Larsen. It was a nice one. Now you'll score again. Not long after the second half restart. Again, it's from Bellegarde. These two working good together, but this one is a pretty soft shot. Your old pal Aaron Ramsdale could have.
He
You would
has
imagine
not had a good season.
he would have been able to stroll over there if the ball was coming, at a leisurely pace from just outside the 18-yard box.
Yeah,
Anyways, couldn't get to
he
it.
he has not done well there
No.
at
Well, no,
Southampton.
well, to be fair, nobody's done well. This thing is
To be fair, yeah,
yeah,
nobody's done well at Southampton this year, but
historic. It could be
yeah,
historic. I don't know where they're going to get the 3 extra points they'll need to go past it was a Derby, I believe, in the worst team ever. They got
yeah.
one goal back. They got Paul Onuachu in the 75th minute. He knocks
Mhm.
in a Tyler Dibbling shot that goes off the post and in, but that's all they can manage. Yeah, the 9 points. I just don't see any more than that. Wolves now are going to move up to 9 points ahead of Leicester and Ipswich, and we'll talk about Ipswich now because they have a chance to, try and keep pace, try and stay six back, but unfortunately they look up and they have to play Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest
Yeah.
currently third spot in the league,
Hi,
and
Brennan.
hello, Brennan. They may be at Portman Road, but really that means nothing these days. Forest are going to get goals from Nikola Milenkovic and a brace from Anthony Alanga in the first half. Ipswich is going to get a goal from Jens Kashus. The Swede gets his first Premier League goal of his career. Congratulations to him.
Congratulations.
That's something you can talk about in the championship. Yoda
Mhm.
Silva adds another for Forest after that in I believe it was 82nd minute, and then late George Hurst scores for the Tractor Boys. Yeah, two very different seasons for these guys. I think their
Yeah.
positions make Forest. I keep thinking we're going to drop out. They're 5 up on Chelsea.
Yeah.
They're
I don't know. They just keep I mean, I know it was Ipswich, but they just keep getting these results. I
yep.
just don't know where Forest is gonna slip up anymore. Like I don't I just don't
Nope.
know where it's gonna come from.
Now don't forget, I predicted they slipped down. I also famously predicted that
Liverpool
Liverpool
would.
was easily gonna
Yeah.
fall out of first and be nowhere near the Champions League by the time Christmas time rolled around. But
Yeah,
there you go.
that just didn't happen.
They say it doesn't age well. Comments
No,
like
it
that,
did
Adelia.
not age well. That's one of those images that precede unfortunate events Twitter account kind of posts. Yeah.
Now there's still what is it?
9
9 games,
games.
9 games for them to fall back, and now we'll talk about how many points ahead they are. But maybe they've also hit a wall because things aren't going great outside the Champions League for Liverpool. By the way,
That's true.
now moving on, we're gonna go.
BX Gunner says the title caption is very deceiving. I don't know about that. Greetings to you as well.
I got to tell you,
Thanks for joining
I
us.
did not like that thumbnail whatsoever. So, anyways, so we go to
I
the
didn't
other
know
half.
what else to put on the thumbnail for this episode,
You could have put
so
Aaron Ramsdale on. I would have liked it better. So City
no.
with a chance now to leapfrog Chelsea into fourth. They're at home. Used to be
Mhm.
a bit of a fortress for them. Brighton's coming in with the chance themselves to leapfrog City with a win and move into a Champions League spot. I believe I don't know if we mentioned it, but I think it's settled down. That the Premier League is going to have 5 Champions League spots just because of the wins in the top 5 or something. How it
I
works,
think
I
so.
don't know how it works.
I don't
That's
know
what I
how
think.
it works either.
Some of the names on City's bench. Okay, Kovacic,
Mhm.
Grealish, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. Don't forget
They just
Nunez, one of the best footballers in the world.
Are they even trying?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows with these guys? The 6 minute, Matoma looks like he scores to me. The ball comes in on the counter attack.
Mm-hmm.
They first off try and find out if he's offside. They look at that for a while. Then they settle on, well, when he goes into Ortega, that's a foul, and that's how it goes. There's no way Ortega had control of that ball. What are you guys
Yeah.
talk? What are you guys talking
I
about?
didn't understand why this was disallowed either.
Yeah, I understood why it was disallowed.
I mean, I
One
do
one one
understand,
shirt
but
was a different colored shirt than the other.
I
One
do
more favorable.
understand. I understand that part, but like from a laws of the game standpoint, I don't understand
Yes,
why this was disallowed.
it was ridiculous. Anyways, 3 minutes later, Adam Webster slides to try and tackle Omar Marmouche in the box. His trailing foot, I guess maybe he grazed a toe. Marmouche goes flying and flipping and whatever. Called
Yeah.
for the penalty. You knew it was going to happen. And it looks like he might have touched his toe at least. So it wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
phantom thing. We're going to talk about a phantom call in a minute, which is pretty funny. But up to the spot walks young Erling Holland.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never heard of this kid before, he has just tallied his 100th goal involvement in the Premier League. And he does it in less than 100 games. He's the first player to ever do that. 4 or 6 faster than Alan Shearer. Just a little more context, Mo Salah took 116 games before he got 100. But he also had to play a bunch of those games at Chelsea under Mourinho, who didn't like him. So
Yeah.
there you go. So yeah, that number gets a little skewed. Now, we get to go to the 21st minute now, and I think this may be the goal of the week. You know there's a couple here that you can say, okay, this is pretty good too. But Purvis Stupinian, free kick. It's about 24 yards out. It goes through the
Mm-hmm.
wall into the inside the far post or whatever for the goal. I hear a lot of the announcer guys going on about Ortega getting to that ball. I don't see how. I don't
Yeah.
see first how he sees the ball. The second, it goes in between. I don't know how it doesn't hit anybody on that wall. It just goes in between them and in. From that space and from the pace that ball had, there was no way Ortega was getting there. I don't know what they were thinking when you consider some of the slow rollers that were beating
Yeah.
keepers, and they were saying, "Oh, there was a perfectly placed shot." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
I don't know what they were talking about either.
Ridiculous. Anyways, 39th minute, City going ahead again. This time is Marmouche. Marmouche getting one of his own from the top of the D. Nice low hard striking. How I like those. Almost impossible to save, no matter where from.
Yeah.
And when they're kicked hard, not when they're just rolled in or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
playing for orange slices at halftime. 4 goals in 7 appearances for the Egyptian. Not too shabby for a guy they just picked up in January. And see,
Yeah.
City just seemed to get stronger. And well, you consider who they're leaving on the bench for these guys. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But
Marmouche has been good for them for sure.
yeah, we're going to talk about another guy they picked up in January right now. Because in the 47th minute, Stupignon, again with the corner, eventually comes to Jack Hinchelwood. He puts a little weak shot on net, and I don't know what Abdikader Kusanov was doing. I
I
don't know
don't
if
know
he
what
kicks
Kusanov
this
is
thing,
doing either.
if somehow it picks up speed after deflecting off of him. Anyways, it goes in. The game's level again. A little OG. And then each team is going to have some good chances to take the lead. And one team is going to have a great chance because Carlos Boliba has the ball come to him with a wide open net. And he kicks it like he plays for Arsenal and he puts it like a good meter or two above the bar with a wide open net. It was
Mm-hmm.
out. It was jaw dropping how he misses this shot.
I don't know how he missed this.
Yeah, ends 2-all. So City are going to stay fifth. Brighton are going to stay seventh. Brighton unbeaten in 5 games now. There you go. Nice little turnaround after dropping that 7-0 decision to Forest earlier. Yikes.
Yeah, Brighton are definitely doing better.
Speaking about teams doing better, we're going to go to
Mm-hmm.
Goodison Park. Everton taking on West Ham. 2 clubs that have made managerial changes here this year. Adelia, I don't know if one may be a little more
One is
successful than the
definitely
other.
better than the other.
Yeah, but early on in this match, as Jordan Pickford keep his team in, he has to make a couple of real good saves off of Jared Bowden, and this is when we're talking about the 44th minute. Beto in the box, surrounded by hammers,
Mm-hmm.
goes down, and Darren Pond immediately runs over. That's a penalty. You kidding me? Penalty.
Yeah.
Well, replay show that despite having players all around him, Beto is going to kick the ground and fall over.
Yeah.
No one
This.
touches him. No one's close.
Yeah.
Awful. And that Chris
Awful.
Kavanaugh has to be the one. Chris Kavanaugh in VAR. Chris Kavanaugh has to be the one to say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. We can't let this one slide."
Yeah.
Are you insane? And then he looked at it for so long because there's
Yeah.
from one
I
angle
don't
there's
know
one
why
foot
this
in
took
the
so
area.
long.
From one
What?
angle, there's a foot that's just in the area, and they're showing it from field level instead of just showing the one that's up and showing that foot,
Yeah.
but 1 foot away from where everything happened.
This is one of those
Ridiculous.
VAR decisions that I'm like, why did this take so long?
Yeah,
Like, first off, it shouldn't have ever been called a penalty to begin with. Secondly, at least VAR called him over to look at it, but then they looked at it for way too long. It was so obvious that he just kicked the ground and fell over. Like,
it's a pride thing. It's almost like they get docked pay for
yeah,
making mistakes. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. Whatever. I sent a video over on our Discord just about with
yeah.
some guy talking about some things that have happened with the PGMOL. Too
I
funny.
have not had a chance to watch that video yet, but you can get a link to that video if you join our Discord. There's a link in the description of this episode if you feel like joining us in there. We have a soccer talk channel where we talk about all this stuff all the time.
And I try not to use swear words when I do it.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
pretty successful. Pretty successful. Now, 67th minute, Thomas Suchek is going to be the one to get hammers on the board. Nice bouncing shot that beats Pickford. It's nothing too
Thomas
special.
Suchek, who is about to be withdrawn.
He was about to be scores, and then no, you can finish the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Graham Potter. It's Graham Potter at his finest. Anyways, they're going to take that 1-0 lead and hold on until the first extra minute, in which this is where when I say maybe if Estupiñán's isn't the goal of the week, maybe this passing play is going to do it. Starts with Carlos Alcaraz lobbing it over to Idrissa Gueye, who one times it never touches the floor.
Yeah.
One times it into Jake O'Brien's head for the tying goal. Jake O'Brien now his second Premier League goal in his second straight game. So how about that for the young Irishman?
That's nice.
On St. Patty's weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if that.
BX Gunner in the chat saying Suchek is so clutch. Definitely been vital to the Hammers team for a few years now. I agree with that.
Yeah, he's been really good for them. They have got some good players. I just don't know how they're languishing so far back.
They have not had good coaching this year at all.
No, Lopetegui was a bad decision. Bad.
And
And now they got
Graham
Graham
Potter
Potter.
is looking like a bad decision too.
I'm going to talk.
Meanwhile, the guy that won them a European trophy coached Everton in this game.
It's boring football, though. They got boring
Yeah,
football.
but if boring football wins you things, who cares?
I think that was Moise's argument.
Yeah.
No one's ever won as much as I have for West Ham. If it's boring, it's successful. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Now, I hate Pep Guardiola's football tactics.
Mhm.
I hate this possession garbage. I hate how it's infecting everyone. And I took a look. I did a quick stats check because I was so pissed at Chelsea. This week, in the 8 matches, 5 losses of teams that had the possession advantage. In some case, by a good 20%.
Possession doesn't win you games.
It doesn't win you games. Like especially if you're a good counterattacking football team.
Yeah.
Forest, for example, you're going to win games. If you can just cut the reins and let them run, they're going to win you games. They're just stifle so much. Anyways, this. I haven't even gotten to Chelsea yet, and I'm already frustrated with them. Anyways, the Toffees now unbeaten in 7 games. They're going to stay where they are, though, tied in the table. Everton is going to be 15th. They're up by a 12-goal difference, but there's a team that has quite a few more goals tied on points with them. We'll talk about them in a bit. The only part of the weekend that made me smile. Anyways, David Moyes, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, will be a manager next week.
He'll still have a job next week. Yes.
Well, congratulations to him. Now, Leicester, speaking of guys who might not have jobs.
I have a stat about this game that I could not believe.
Yeah. Well, good. Okay. United head to Kings Power Stadium. They leave with 3 of the more easily taken points they'll get. And not only just this season, maybe in the next couple. If Rasmus Højlund is going to score for you, then you know how easily this is. The competition is going to bend for you guys. It's his first goal since December 7th. For goodness sakes, that's now 3 goals on the year for Rasmus Højlund.
Do you remember when people said he was the next Erling Haaland?
Because they came from the same place. They came from they came from the same country, I guess, or whatever. Does Jurgen Strand Larsen, I think, has more goals than him now. Incredible. Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. You get second half goals from Garnacho. You got
Garnacho had one struck off for offside and then scored.
Yeah, he had another one that came close or whatever too. That was just wide or whatever. He had like the best 15-minute run of his United career in this match against Leicester. Yeah, and then Bruno Fernandes, of course, scoring again. Now, 6 straight losses without a goal for the Foxes. Unbelievable. Does Ruud van Nistelrooy make it to season's end?
That's what I said when he was appointed. I said, if they're in trouble, how do you keep him there?
You got to get a start on your championship side staff. Just get rid of the guy. He's not. You're going nowhere. You're not advancing with this guy.
Anyways, my stat on this game. This was Leicester's 7th straight home game without scoring a goal and losing. So 7 straight home losses without scoring a goal. That's the first time it's happened in English top flight history. Not just Premier League, but the entire top flight history.
They aren't good. I feel bad. I feel bad for Jamie Vardy.
I don't.
He gives his all for that goddamn club, and
he does. He gives his all for that club. He does, but he's not a great person. So,
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Now, speaking of not great people, we get Fulham and Spurs together on the same pitch.
But I enjoyed this game.
It's like 22. Well, yeah, I enjoyed the result. There's 22 people I can dislike, except for Willian. Let me get 21. I'll never say a bad thing about Willian. Anyway,
I'll never say a bad thing about the academy kids that now play for Fulham. So
yeah, this is the first of 2 West End versus North End London derbies in this. This at the Cottage.
Before we get into this, BX Gunner says Vardy is so close to 150 league goals, but won't reach it. Unfortunately, that's probably true.
Nope. Like I said, unless he ends up going to a club so he can come off the bench.
I don't see him leaving.
He's already dropped down. He already dropped down once for these guys.
I don't see him leaving.
Back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a remarkable thing that they won in.
It's an absolutely remarkable thing that they won, and he'll have that forever.
Yeah, they're going to build a statue to Eden Hazard. That'd be wonderful too. Just beating Spurs, or not even beating Spurs. The goal to tie it against Spurs, just to take that championship away from Spurs, to make them cry, to break their spirit.
I'm all for that.
It's a light in my cold dark heart.
Yeah.
All
right. Let's talk about Fulham and Spurs.
Well, the first half was shit.
Yes, it was.
To say it was lackluster I think is a demeaning to that term as well. Now,
Mhm.
it's going to be two subs making the difference in this one. The first one being Rodrigo Muniz. He comes on the 63rd minute, and it's another slow roller for a goal. I don't know how Vicario doesn't get to this. He could have moonwalked and made it there, but somehow this thing is going to go in. Vicario didn't play too shabbily until
Yeah.
this in the 70. What was this in the 78th minute? I think it is
Yeah.
against.
BX Gunner is interrupting and saying Vardy is definitely very underrated and a legend in their opinion, and then apologizes and says they won't continue
I
interrupting.
don't think he's interrupting. I appreciate when people
Yeah.
do some stuff. That's great. Now, the next one being Ryan Sessegnon. It comes on in the 88th minute or in the 87th minute, and less
Mhm.
than a minute later,
Yep.
uh, he gets that long clearance from Bernd Leno from 18-yard box to 18-yard box. And if Ben Davies uh, ever plays us for Tottenham Hotspurs again, I would be surprised,
It was not
but
good from
not
him.
shocked. It was
Not shocked at all if
terrible.
he plays again, but
Beaten to it and then just out muscled in the box by Sessegnon. There's a nice shot.
it
The
was a
shot
nice shot.
that just slowly curls in across from Vicario. No real chance for Vicario in that one. The play
Yeah.
was before the ball got to the box. Ridiculous. Anyways, congratulations to one of the teams I detest most in the world for beating the team I probably do detest most in the world. There were no winners here.
I loved seeing that Ange Postacoglu was disappointed after this result. Like,
Did
what
you
has this season been for you, dude? Like, of
this
course you're disappointed.
the away fans got on him? I don't know if you
They
saw that.
should.
When Matthias Till had to tell him like back off and stuff. Yeah, that was crazy. And how does he like his decision? He come over from Germany to
Oh, he's got to be
shut.
hating
Like,
this.
no, I can't
This
do it.
I
I can't
think
do it. Oh, I'll do it. I'll do
this
it.
I
Fine.
think is why he didn't want to go to Spurs, and then he realized no one else was going to get him. So he's like, "Okay, I'll go to Spurs," and now he's stuck in this.
Yeah, I think they were the only ones willing to do it for like
Yeah,
a year or something like that. Anyways, whatever. Spurs are going to drop to 14th, but that huge goal differential, like
huge.
yeah, it's like I said, what was it? 12, 16 on 16 on Everton and 28 on West Ham. But
Yeah.
no, none of these teams are getting relegated, so it really doesn't matter. Fulham are going to
Yeah.
go up to 8th spot.
Yep. Fulham are having another one of those seasons where they're in that 8 to 10 range, and I think that's where they belong.
Yeah, I think they can drop down some.
Yeah,
I'd
you
have,
would. You would.
I'd have no problem with that at all. They can keep tumbling down if they like. Now,
I mean, I'd rather Fulham be in the top 10 than Man United or Spurs, so I'll take it.
yep. Well, one match left to go,
Yep.
and that was the starting 11 derby.
Mhm.
Uh, Possibly, and I'm not just saying this, one of the worst matches of football I've ever watched.
It was bad.
It was utter shit.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
bad.
Fulham decided to play for 20 minutes. I guess that's all they
Fulham,
really. Fulham. Well, yeah, it's about the same thing. Arsenal decided to play for 20 minutes. It's
Arsenal
all
got
they
a
needed.
lead, and then that's all they
That's
needed.
they got
Chelsea had no one who could score them goals.
when you're coming down to Mark Cucurella. And Mark
Yeah.
Cucurella almost scoring like
Marc
when that
Cucurella had that one chance, yeah.
well
Went through
Raya just
Raya's
bottles
hands.
it and then
Yeah,
it just
just
wouldn't
went
curl.
wide.
Just wouldn't curl in there. But if you have to hope for something like that, because the only two shots in the game were by Cucurella on target.
Like, let's be real. This game was two teams playing without strikers.
Yep.
And when you
Cole
get
Palmer
that,
out.
no one is going to score except for maybe bump from a corner with a header, which is what Mikel Merino did.
Yeah, everybody seems to be hurt for Chelsea up front. Everybody seems to be hurt for you guys. There
Mhm.
was no Palmer. Jackson's been out for a while. Jackson may be coming back, but if you're a team that's looking forward to having Nicholas Jackson come back,
Yeah.
you're in a lot of trouble. And we're in fourth spot. What does this say about the league when the second and fourth ranked teams
Having those
play
healthy
this
strikers.
poor? They just played that
Yeah.
poorly.
They played poorly,
That
yeah.
was poor football, like tactically poor. Like what? I don't know what Maresca's doing. Like it's Arsenal, for God's sakes, on a set piece. How do you not have a defender at the back post?
You can join us on our Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/LGR_network, if you are interested in maybe appearing on the show. You can do that with one of the tiers. It helps us pay for our editor and our graphics guy and stuff like that. So check it out.
Yeah, I don't get any of the money. Don't worry. Now,
Neither do I. So
how dare you? How dare you? Now, yeah, just put someone at the back post, like especially if it's Sanchez who flails around all the time.
there are some teams like
Just know your goddamn
Arsenal's
players.
prowess at corners has been noted this season, and there have
Hmm.
been some teams that we've played against that just don't seem prepared for it. And like, how can you not be prepared for Arsenal on corners this year? Like, there's no excuse.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Second half, is there anything worth talking about at all? There's
No,
nothing. Like
no,
the closest thing you got to action was in like extra time when Julian Timber goes over to Maresca and tells him to what's it, try harder or something like that.
something like
And
that. Yeah,
Maresca is a little fine with it. I was like, what is
yeah,
happening here? There's no passion in this club at all.
yeah,
Everyone's this time. Everything goes side to side and back, side to side and back. Like Chelsea had 62%. They had only 15% of the ball in the first 20 minutes, and then just dominated after that possession. They dominated possession because they did nothing with it. They
yeah,
did nothing with the ball. It's like, why bother? Just
and
run. Just let them run.
yeah. And Arsenal was happy to let Chelsea have all that possession because Chelsea was going to do nothing with it.
Yep.
So, like this was just a game that I'll never watch again.
Oh.
I'm glad we won. I still don't think we're catching Liverpool.
Well, we'll talk about that quick. Well, first time, yeah. I don't know. I don't really want to complain about Chelsea anymore. It's not worth it. Yeah, Liverpool didn't play. They had the game in hand or whatever, now gone. Didn't play because they were playing for the Carabao Cup, the League Cup.
Against Newcastle.
Newcastle, Liverpool once again failing in a playoff competition, losing to Newcastle. Newcastle winning their first trophy in 56 years.
Yeah.
First major trophy. Championship and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that doesn't count. 56 years since the 1950, what did I say, 1956 FA Cup.
Something like that. Yeah.
For a team that considers itself, you know, a legendary squad.
I mean, they're
56
not.
years?
Yeah.
No, no. They had good years in the 90s
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, but come on. Anyways, when I saw Bruno Guimaraes crying and saying this is the happiest day of his life, it was like, oh, like, I feel so bad for you. But, you know, when you consider maybe because 56 years worth of shit is now get
Mm-hmm.
erased. I know Chelsea went 50 years without winning the Premier League. Then they won it 4 other times after that, Adelia. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we'll see.
BX Gunner saying, "Well done to Newcastle." I agree. Well done to Newcastle.
They own that game. Like
They
Liverpool
did.
had no business being on the same pitch as them.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
BX Gunner also saying Arsenal on corners is like the classic basketball psych out. LOL, and then corrects himself to basketball.
I forgot about that movie. I should rewatch that. Anyways, just a couple of Chelsea bits because I always have them. Jadon Sancho. So there's rumors going around. I'll say rumors because you never hear from a club. But rumors going around that supposedly they're going to try and pay United a healthy fee to not have to take on his contract after the loan spell is done. He's making. What's that, a $25 million fee or whatever that they have to buy him for? Maybe they're going to try and double that
Mm-hmm.
just not to get this guy. 19 games without a goal involvement for Jadon Sancho.
So was it a loan with an obligation to buy then?
Yep.
Why would they have done that?
There's 84 players on the Chelsea squad for next year.
That's insanity.
I think they just like collecting. Like they should take up like Star Wars action figures or whatever the heck that is.
Yeah.
Like, this
Pokemon
is not
cards, something.
There you go. That is, it costs less, guys. So you can save some money. Yeah, ridiculous. And they just hold on to the ball so much. Like, and then just to pass out to the corner, he'll give it back to Cucurella. Cucurella will try and go in and stuff, do the stuff that Sancho isn't willing to do. Like, but all these
Yeah.
wingers don't do anything.
Yeah.
They play so many people out of position. They like playing Reece James in the midfield, having
Mhm.
Fofana play in Reece James's position, having Badiashile on the pitch, and even the defense wasn't even the worst part of the game. I don't know. I have no idea. Whatever. It just doesn't make nothing is making sense with the squad, and they're still in a Champions League position, which is mind-boggling. And they bought 2 more teenagers this week. Ridiculous, ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Anyways, you ready to talk about next week at all?
There's no games next week.
Well, I'm sorry, the next match week.
The next match week. Yeah, because we're going into an interlull, as the great
Mm-hmm.
Arse blogger calls it. And then it's FA Cup quarterfinals weekend, so there's no games. And so the next games are April 1st and 2nd.
April Fool's Day. We get back to Premier League action, which keeps going on to what is it, June? Something
Yeah.
like that. This
You will be
insanity.
watching the next match week. I will be on vacation during that
Lucky.
time. And then the Friday of that week, which will be April 4th, we're going to do a special episode where basically Snark tells me what happened.
Yeah.
So there'll be that.
I'm gonna lie, and I'm gonna say everything I wanted to have happen happened.
No, you're not, because I'm going to have the scores.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, let's get into Match Week 29. Now, Match Week
How did
28.
predictions for
I was
Match
gonna
Week
say,
28 go?
Match Week 28. I was feeling pretty down about myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's only getting 4 correct. Turns out that my competitors, you and Ferris, each also got 4 correct. So it wasn't so bad. Somehow I was put in 3rd spot, though. I was
I
I was
noticed
unhappy with
that.
that.
I was like, why are like
Like,
I was in first spot for some reason. Ferris, who's leading the standings, was in second, and you were in third. And I was like, why?
not a fan of that. I could tell you. I was like, I
Yeah,
couldn't even have this. I couldn't even have
yeah.
this week.
Um,
Ridiculous.
so we were all 50% on the week because there was only 8 games.
Yeah, we did good.
That's pretty
I'll
good.
take a 50% week.
Yeah,
Usually I'm a 2 or 3 win guy. So there you go.
yeah.
Speaking about getting 2 or 3 wins right, we'll talk about Match Week 29. It's going to start with the London. You get another back-to-back London derbies for you.
No, we just did Match Week 29. This would be
Oh,
Match
sorry,
Week
Match
30.
Week. Okay, Match Week 30. The next Match Week.
Yeah.
We've got Arsenal and Fulham. Talk about 2 clubs that I do not like, but they will be facing each other at
Arsenal.
the Emirates. You just think Arsenal?
Yeah.
But Fulham.
Why would I
Fulham just
pick
won.
Fulham? Why would I pick Fulham?
Chaos. Send
No.
chaos through starting
You're the
11.
chaos agent in these predictions. I am not.
Fine, I'll take Arsenal too. Wolves and West Ham. This could be a fun match, actually.
This could be a fun match. I'm gonna
At the
go
Molyneux.
I'm gonna go West Ham.
Ooh, okay. Well, that just looks like it's screaming for a draw, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna
Maybe.
do. That's
Okay.
what I'm gonna do. Now, here's an important matchup. Forest get to take on United at the City Ground.
Forest.
Yeah, I think Forest is gonna win too, no problem. Because United aren't 2 game in a row type teams anymore.
No, they're not.
Bournemouth gets Ipswich.
Bournemouth.
Yeah, they should bounce back against the Tractor Boys. Brighton and Villa. This could be a good match too. Villa may be a little rested.
Draw.
Ooh, she goes draw. I'm gonna go Brighton at home
Okay.
over Villa, who have been a little scattershot lately.
Mm-hmm.
City gets Leicester
City.
at home. Now, we should have a thing. Does Leicester actually get the score? Probably not.
Probably not.
Anyways, moving on. Southampton at home. It doesn't matter where they play, really, against Crystal Palace.
Palace.
2 teams that started out very similarly.
Mhm.
One team gradually grew to be much better, and Palace will win that match handily as well, I would believe.
Mm-hmm.
We got Newcastle against the Bees. Good news for the Bees. They're
They're
not
on
at
the
home.
road.
They're not at
Yeah,
home
they're
for
on the
this.
road. I went Newcastle in this. I think they'll be riding high after their Carabao Cup win.
Will they still have the smell of alcohol on them?
Some of the
Because
fans might.
the Geordies are going to be in a good voice, I would imagine.
Yep.
Come game time, I'm going to go with Newcastle as well. Okay, oh, we get the Liverpool derby. We get a
Merseyside
Merseyside
derby.
derby. Liverpool and Everton.
As much as I hate it, Liverpool should win that.
David Moyes.
I know
Dave,
it's David Moyes. I
he has
know.
them just playing different, and Liverpool's been not great.
Well, I'm still picking Liverpool at Anfield.
I'm gonna go for a draw.
Okay.
More chaos
Like
for
I
me.
said, Chaos Agent.
Yes. Chelsea's gonna beat Tottenham at
Yes, they
the
are.
Bridge
Yep.
on the game on the
My
Thursday. For
my
goodness sake,
question is starting to be: does Ange Postecoglou have a job next year
if they would have
at
already gotten rid of
Tottenham?
him, they would have gotten rid of him already. There's no way.
I just don't know. If
I
they
don't.
finish as low as they are in the table,
I don't know who they get.
that's a good question. Who would they get? But I
It,
just don't know if you keep him.
Pep Guardiola has so many assistant coaches that
Yeah.
are ready to coach anywhere, and they're usually sprung up in other places already. So we will see. Yeah, I think Ange
All
actually
right.
does make it to the end, but not after that.
Tottenham is in 14th, tied on points with Everton and West Ham.
Yeah,
I just say results keep going Everton and West Ham's way, not so much Tottenham's, and they finish 16th because I don't think they'd fall behind Wolves. How do you keep him?
nope. I don't know. I
I mean,
can't
don't get
tell
me
you.
wrong. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I always win a trophy in my second year, but we're going to absolutely suck in the league. Ange Postecoglou coach team. But yeah.
Yeah, I have not followed them at all in Europa League. I can't imagine that they're doing very well. I'm too busy thinking, looking to the future here, Delia, and Chelsea winning the most coveted trophy that UEFA has come up with in the last 3 years in
Hmm.
this season, to actually lift some silverware for the first time, and since we won the Cup Winners' Cup, basically, or whatever, the Club World Cup or whatever. It's not called that, whatever it's called. We were going to win that this summer instead,
Yeah.
because we actually
So
get to go.
yeah, so Tottenham advanced 3-2 on aggregate against AZ Alkmaar
Ah,
over this week. So I think they're in the quarterfinals now.
congratulations to
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspuds.
I haven't seen the draw, so I don't know who they've got next.
Ugh, like Chelsea barely squeaked by Copenhagen, for God's sakes. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's it for
So,
starting 11. Delia, mercifully, week 29 is in the books.
yeah. It wasn't great. Tottenham's got Eintracht Frankfurt in the next round.
Ooh, I think they're gonna lose.
I think so too.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for joining us here today on Starting 11. BX Gunner in the chat. Great to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
We will be back, like we said, April 4th for a special Friday edition of Starting 11. Enjoy the intro lull, enjoy the FA Cup quarterfinals, and then we'll be back to talk. Well, Snark will have watched the match week. I'm going on vacation, so I will not have seen the next match week. So Snark will be telling me what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Friday, April 4th. On Saturday, April 5th, we will be doing our 5th anniversary of LGRN stream. It's going to be live on the entertainment channel, on this channel, and on Twitch. The stream's already up, so you can see it up there. We're going to have special guests. We're going to have some guests from the past. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a long stream, big party. So we will enjoy that on Saturday, April 5th, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So join us for that. Snark, where can people find you?
Well, this week you'll find me Thursday on the Entertainment Channel talking Buffy the Vampire Slayer on the Rewatchers Council, Adelia. Are we talking choices? Know anybody who's
Mhm.
going to be joining me on that?
I'll be joining you on
Okay,
that,
that's right.
and Ferris should be, I think, and Brennan, Councilman at Large Brennan Marr, is going to join us for that one as well.
We're
So,
gonna have a full. We're gonna have a full crew for
yep.
Rewatchers Council this week. Choices is a fun episode.
Hey, Shug.
What's up, Shug? Then what else we got? LGRN after Snark taking the week off because I got some dart playoffs to win this
Nice.
weekend. I know that everybody's been uh, looking forward to me steamrolling the competition in darts. It's not going to happen. I'm not very good at it, but I will have a bunch of drinks. So there you go. What else? And then yeah, we'll be back in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, or
Two
whatever
and
it
a
is
half weeks. Yeah,
for
it's a long
starting
break.
11. Well, give me time to mull over what happened this weekend, which is going to make for an awful fortnight. But
Yeah.
yeah, thanks everyone for watching Starting 11. Adelia, anything else to say to the good folks listening or watching at home?
Check me out with Ferris on the Entertainment Channel, 6 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. We're doing the open table and talking about how we became friends over the internet and how that has
Hmm.
made the internet and Discord and things like that have made making friendships a little bit more accessible for people who don't like making friends in person. So, we're going to talk about that and probably more. And maybe Ferris will hit himself in the head again. Who knows? There's a
We can
short on
only
the
hope. We
Entertainment
can only
Channel
hope.
about that. If you missed that incident, it was very funny. But thank you everyone for joining us, and we are out of here. Bye.